The Wooden Horse. Many centuries ago, there was a great and powerful king of Persia named Sabur. He was a kind and generous king who helped the poor and showed respect to everybody. On public holidays, King Sabur always opened his palace to the people of his city. The people celebrated for days and brought the king and his family beautiful gifts. On one holiday, a wizard came to the palace to give the king his new invention. The wizard was a smart inventor who knew all about magic and the mysteries of the world and could make unusual things. The king loved anything scientific and technical, and he asked the wizard to show him his invention. So the wizard presented him with a horse, which was made of beautiful wood as black as the night. Its shining eyes were pure gold, and it had jewels in its fine head. It was a very suitable gift for a king. The king admired the horse's beauty and asked the wizard what it could do. "My lord," the wizard answered, "if you get on this horse, it will carry you wherever you want to go. It can ride through the sky and race through 1 year in a single day." The king thought this invention was very special, and he said to the wizard, "Show me how this horse of yours works. By Allah, if you're telling the truth, I'll give you whatever your heart desires." So the wizard climbed onto the horse's back, pressed its stomach, and the horse suddenly flew up into the sky and around in circles above the palace. Everyone was amazed as they watched this. "So now, wizard, you may ask for anything, and I'll give you whatever you desire." This wizard had heard that the king had 3 beautiful daughters, and that the youngest was especially beautiful. People often talked of her beauty and said that she was like the sun and the moon. So the wizard asked the king to give him his youngest daughter as his wife. The king immediately agreed and commanded a servant to bring his daughter. But the 3 daughters had been watching and listening from behind a curtain. The youngest saw that her husband was at least 100 years old and very ugly. She couldn't believe that her father would marry her to this horrible old man with a face like a monkey's. She ran to her room, fell onto her bed, and cried. Her brother, Prince Kamar al-Akmar, heard her crying and ran in to see what was wrong. "Dear little sister, why are you crying? What's made you so unhappy?" When she told him what had happened, he was angry at his father and promised his sister that he would stop this silly marriage. He went to his father to complain, but his words were wasted. The king could only think of the beautiful wooden horse. "My son, you don't understand. This horse is amazing. Just try it, and you'll see what I'm talking about." The king commanded his slaves to bring the horse for the prince to try. The prince was very good with horses, but when he got on this horse, it wouldn't move. He sat on its back, kicking its sides and commanding it to move, but it just sat there, completely still. The king was very angry and ordered the wizard to show the prince how it worked. But the wizard had heard everything that the prince and the king had said, and he was very angry at the prince for trying to stop his marriage. He came forward and, without smiling or even looking at the prince, pointed to a button on the horse's stomach and said, "Press this." The prince thought this man was quite rude, but he pressed the button. Suddenly, the horse flew into the sky, higher and higher, until the prince and the horse were only a tiny spot. In the end, the king couldn't see the horse or his son at all. He was very angry and told the wizard to make them come down again. But the wizard pretended that he was innocent. "My lord, there's nothing I can do. Your son was too silly and proud to ask me about the button for coming down, and I'm afraid I forgot to tell him.